Season with a win kickoff weekend and a near comeback win on the road last week. And now it's time for Thursday night football and an early season Sunshine State showdown. The 1-1 Jaguars entertain the 0-2 Miami Dolphins. Kickoff at TIAA Bank Field coming up at 8:20 Eastern. And tonight's game is presented by Bud Light Platinum Seltzer, made for the night. Welcome in to the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. We're at the Hanania Subaru of Orange Park studio at TIAA Bank Field. Primetime football.
Do you have your teal pants on?
I will not show you. No.
All right. Well,
I'm good.
You know, it's a little air of mystery. Maybe we both have our teal pants on.
We got our
now.
shirts on.
People don't know,
For
right?
sure.
We've got our shirts.
It's a teal out tonight.
It is.
Teal end zones, teal on teal uniforms.
First time ever.
Everything teal tonight.
Yeah.
For an exciting football team, at least early in the season. They didn't get the winning result last week. They're scoring 28.5 points per game, which is pretty exciting.
Not bad. If you like teal, you better hope they win, because I don't know if they'll do that combination again if they don't.
That's plenty to get to in today's show, of course. At 8:20 kickoff time tonight, it is picture-perfect weather outside, bright sunshine. And come on, if you're coming down to TIAA Bank Field, get down here and, tailgate responsibly, and then come on in the stadium, distance, and follow the protocol and wear your mask tonight here at TIAA Bank Field. Let's get to today's top story, starting with the Jaguars players that have been ruled out. DJ Chark yesterday was listed officially as questionable, but today downgraded to out, the star wide receiver. Center Brandon Linder is out, and kicker Josh Lambo also out of tonight's game. So those are three key pieces to your football team.
Yeah, and, it's not always the case when you lose three starters, but your kicker, to me, is the one that worries me the most here because, look, the wide receiver core is pretty deep, and they've been effective spreading the ball around. Now, coverage may change a little bit with DJ Chark not drawing primary coverage out there, and that may, put the onus on some of the other guys, but I think they can handle it. And, look, Tyler Shatley's played a lot of football. He'll step in for Brandon Linder, but we don't know anything here really about Brandon Wright, who was 12 out of 18 as a collegian, kicking field goals. Hope for the best. I mean, look, Lambo got cut from the Chargers as well, right? This is kind of the nature of kickers. What you did in the past does not necessarily represent what you're going to do in the future. But that was one thing, JP, when you wanted a snack, Jaguars scored a touchdown, you got up and left because you knew Lambo was pretty much automatic going to make the kick. I mean, he's never missed one here. Didn't miss a field goal attempt. He made 40 straight kicks, I think, in this stadium. So, that's something in a close ball game I think we're all going to be watching tonight.
The play calling around that, too, how it affects situations for Doug Marrone. He's very confident, and we'll hear from Marrone coming up a little later. But he has to say that. He's seen him on the practice field. You got to keep your kicker confident. We'll see what he has to say and how he thinks about it when the real game action happens tonight. And in the real game action tonight, not only is it a Sunshine State showdown, it's a facial hair face-off tonight between quarterbacks. The beard Ryan Fitzpatrick for the Dolphins, the mustache Gardner Minshew for the Jags, and Fitzpatrick fired the first salvo earlier this week on Tuesday.
The mustache versus the beard. I think the beard is a cooler look. I think guys that grow mustaches a lot of times have patchy sides for their beards, so they just stick with the mustache. My wife appreciates the mustache trimmed up a little bit more, but she does hate the beard too. So I guess that's a lose-lose for me.
Gardner Minshew answered later that day.
I just want to know if you want to maybe defend the mustache or anything today.
Oh, no, man. I'll let mine speak for itself. I think I've shown I can grow a beard with no patchy sides. But, I'm gonna have respect for my elders, especially when they're much, much elder. Be respectful.
It's tough from Gardner Minshew there. And on a serious note, I mean, Fitzpatrick's been in the league since 2005. He is just ahead of Steve Young, Y.A. Tittle, and Troy Aikman on the all-time passing yardage list, by the way, which are some big-time names. He's been around and played for a lot of teams, of course. Gardner Minshew in his second year, so a little bit different in terms of experience.
Yeah, I heard this stat today. Didn't realize this, that Ryan Fitzpatrick has beaten the Jaguars 5 times with 5 different teams. And that's never happened in the history of the National Football. You think about how many guys have had the opportunity to play a single team as the quarterback of 5 different clubs, and he's won games against the Jags in 5 different uniforms. So that's saying something for him.
challenge this week on a short week of mixing things up offensively, according to offensive coordinator Jay Gruden.
As an offensive coach, you want to try to add some new things that fit what you're going up against Miami. They're a different style of defense, so that calls for some different style of plays. But being a short week, we want to also make sure these guys know what to do so they can play fast. That's the biggest thing, is trying to find that balance between being a little bit different, but also challenging our guys and make sure they can play fast.
I think they've done a pretty good job of being different so far. With you can throw in Laviska Shenault everywhere in this offense, in motion, in the backfield, outside, inside at receiver, and then the running game's going strong, and Gardner so far has been pretty efficient this season. So all that combined together, he has some options at least going into this week.
Look, Jay Gruden's stock is pretty high right now among Jaguar faithful, and it should be. They're averaging 28.5 points a game. They're getting it done in the red zone. They've been super efficient on third downs. They've been pretty balanced offensively. I think he's done an excellent job. He's got receivers running wide open at times, which is something, JP, over the years we've watched this team and we watch our opponents and we go, why can't we get that? And, apparently the scheme matters quite a bit here, and Jay Gruden's got him playing well.
Let's get to that running game going well so far for the Jags. Rookie running back James Robinson got his first career 100-yard game last week, and former Jags running back Fred Taylor likes what he sees so far.
I got to give him a call and say, hey, slow down the pace, son. You can't be out here breaking my the rookie remarks that I set. But it's just a testament to him. He has great ability, being able to run the ball downhill, outside. He shows speed. He has great vision. The offensive line got to get a big boy's credit up front. The coaches believe that they found something. They found a guy who can do it all pretty much. He catches well out of the backfield as well. So you might as well continue to ride that horse.
More with Fred Taylor coming up and countdown to kickoff at 7:30. Good stuff from Fred there. And, I think this was one where, as we've talked about the first couple of weeks, people were, hey, Leonard Fournette's gone? What in the world? That's the last 3 years around here. Who is this undrafted rookie? But he's standing in and playing very well.
So far, so good. I think we'd all take 1,223 yards plus one. Sorry, Fred. I mean, that's what kind of pace he'd have to do to beat Fred's rushing mark as a rookie Jaguar.
We'll see if that can continue tonight as well. The offensive line has a big hand in that as well. Let's go to the defensive side. Josh Allen has been held without a sack so far in 2020. And the Jags defense only has 2 on the books all year. Allen knows that just needs to change, and it could happen tonight.
We just got to do a better job of getting to the quarterback. So we all have to take that pride and just getting to the quarterback more, especially I do. So I've just been grinding as much as I can today. And I've been thinking about all the missed rushes that I could have had and, just learn from that and just move forward and just think about this week and the mean plays I can make this week for my team.
He hasn't gotten home to the quarterback. He's had some pressures. He's been in the ballpark, has some quarterback hits this year, but it's all about getting that sack. Now, you can affect the quarterback and cause turnovers and do that kind of thing too, but it just hasn't been consistent yet for the Jaguars defense.
Well, I think it's one of the big keys to this game tonight. If you let Ryan Fitzpatrick sit back there, he will sling it all over the lot, and he's got some weapons now. And, so the Jags, it'd be great if they can get off to a good start. Not playing from behind, can really get that pass rush cranked up on those third downs and hopefully get Fitzpatrick on the ground, 4 or 5 times tonight.
The other option, if you can't get home with 4, is to bring some extra guys in a blitz, and that could be the easy thing for Todd Wash to do, but there's a little more that goes into it, he said.
I think it depends on the protections that you're getting. Are they a max pro team? Are they a chip pro team? Why are you going to blitz if you're going to just run your face into the wall, so a lot of it has to do with the scheme we're playing. For me, I think it's got to be a situation if we're not getting pressure with 4, then we're going to come with pressure. But down and distance, once again, dictates that. If you want to play man coverage, you want to just turn them loose, or do you want some plugger help and high hole help? So it all depends on really, how we're going about it. We got blitzes up each week, but it's just the situation in the game. And if it calls for it, if it doesn't.
I will say just the feel of it, I don't have the statistics to support it, but it feels like the first 2 weeks, in key moments, there have been more blitzes than in the past, at least the past couple of years from Todd Wash.
Right, I agree with that. Down the stretch, we saw it a lot against Indy and Tennessee both, and sometimes it's effective, sometimes it hasn't been. And I get what he's saying. If a team is max protecting, you don't want to run into the teeth of that, but at the same time, you don't want the quarterback to be able to stand back there like Ryan Tannehill last week, and do whatever he wants and pick his guy out at his leisure. So there's got to be some kind of happy medium in there. I don't think unless the Jags are consistently getting high sack totals, fans are ever happy with the amount of blitzing that they're doing, based on the feedback that I hear anyway.
There you have it, some of today's top stories. More coming up a little bit later, and the Jaguars Game Day radio broadcast is presented by ViStar Credit Union. If you believe free checking is better, join ViStar. That's checking with no fees and no minimums, no kidding. At ViStar, they never forget, it's your money. Each week we visit with a head team physician for the Jags, Dr. Kevin KAPLAN, and last week was one of the most notable injury days in the league in a long time. Big names, big injuries, including a number of knee injuries.
You got to look at all the variables. I mean, we haven't had a long offseason. We haven't had a long ramp up, but certainly a lot of those ACL injuries, with the nature of the game and contact, a lot of those were guys getting twisted and getting wrapped up. And, certainly you've seen a lot in the media about looking at turf and how that affects guys when they plant their foot and rotate. So it's a difficult question to answer. And I think that's why ACLs are such a difficult problem to quote unquote solve, because it usually is multifactorial in terms of what causes an anterior cruciate ligament injury.
When the injury occurs, how quick is the surgery? How quick can a patient come see you? And then how quick are you in there? How invasive is that these days?
Yeah, it depends on how many ligaments are actually injured. A single ACL, just a one ligament injury, typically it is associated with a lot of swelling. So a lot of times when patients come into the office, they've had the injury and been out for 3 or 4 days and have a pretty swollen knee. Those patients will put on ice and get their motion back before you do the surgery. Some of the NFL players, we obviously treat and see right when the injury happens, and we get them on ice right away. We get them moving right away. And sometimes we'll operate on those guys several days after the injury. Certainly in terms of the scheme of things, given that it takes about 9 or 10 months on average for an NFL player to return to play, you want to make sure that when you do the surgery, you give them the optimal chance to get back and get healthy and get all their motion back. So those are the things that we think of. Certain other aspects of an injury, whether there's a cartilage tear, everybody knows what the term meniscus is. That's a type of cartilage. If there's a tear in the meniscus that needs to be fixed right away, we'll typically operate on those guys a little bit quicker than some other isolated ACL injuries. And in terms of the invasiveness of it, we have to take a part of the patient's or the player's normal anatomy. So we typically use what's called bone, tendon, and bone. So a little piece of the kneecap, a little piece of the tibia, and then part of the patellar tendon in between. So that's an incision in the front of the knee. And the rest of it's done with small incisions and a camera. And we're able to reconstruct the ligament by bringing the tendon in place of the ligament, which will then eventually become the ligament. And that's kind of what the body does over a period of time.
Can someone who is not an NFL player walk around and live normally with an ACL tear? Is that something you have to go get fixed, or is it optional?
It's a great question. You can live your life without an ACL, and you won't have a problem, doing the straight ahead, back and forth type of motion. But when it comes to planting your foot, turning, or pivoting, that's when your knee can give out, because that ACL is going to prevent an abnormal rotation between the shin bone or the tibia and the thigh bone or your femur. And the risk to that obviously is doing further damage to your cartilage and your meniscus and what's called your articular cartilage, which is the cartilage that covers the bone. So while there are people that cope and then get by, typically for the weekend warriors or the high school athletes, collegiate athletes, obviously pro athletes that want to pivot and turn and twist, we recommend an ACL reconstruction.
Dr. Kevin KAPLAN, head team physician for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And wow, that last week in the NFL, all the major injuries were, I don't know if I've seen a week like that in a long, long time.
Well, especially happening to such big name players, right? Saquon Barkley and Nick Bosa and Cortland Sutton and on and on and on. I mean, so many guys went down in the span of one afternoon. It was kind of crazy.
Farrah & Farrah reminds you to continue to wear a mask, help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Farrah & Farrah, protecting you and your family since 1979. We're just getting started on the Publix Tailgate Show. We'll return with tight ends coach Ron Middleton. The Jags tight ends had 7 catches in last week's game. We'll see how the group is fitting into Jay Gruden's offense. Dolphins, Jaguars coming up on Thursday Night Football, and from TIAA Bank Field, this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Brooks Rehabilitation outpatient locations throughout Florida are currently open and accepting in-person and telehealth appointments. They're following CDC guidelines to include screenings, temperature checks, face masks, social distancing, and additional sanitizing of all surfaces. They're taking extra precautions to ensure your safety so you can focus on your recovery. Please call their central intake unit at 904-345-7277, option 3 to schedule your visit. Brooks Rehabilitation is the official rehabilitation provider for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you've ever been in a vehicle crash, then you know the impact caused by a collision. Now imagine the force of a crash so great, people are killed. My name is Eric. I sat behind the wheel and drove drunk. I caused a crash that killed 2 young women, Megan and Lisa. Now, I sit alone in my jail cell. Megan and Lisa were taken forever, and their families and friends were left devastated. Don't drink and drive, and remember our roadways are connected to our families.
This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
At Jacksonville International Airport, the health and safety of travelers is their #1 priority. They're doing everything they can to mitigate the spread of COVID-19, from adhering to CDC cleaning guidelines, requiring facial coverings in the terminal, and encouraging social distancing at every point of the airport experience. For a comprehensive look at what the airport, airlines, and their shops, restaurants, and rental cars are doing to keep passengers safe, please visit jacksairportcares.com to learn more.
Jaguars fans, whether it's on the field or in your finances, the key to success is a solid plan. From high-yield banking to home lending, into retirement and beyond, TIAA Bank offers solutions that can help you achieve your goals and make the most of your money. It's time for a plan. Start building your legacy today at TIAABank.com/Jaguars. TIAA Bank is a division of TIAA, FSB, member FDIC, equal housing lender, and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey guys, I want to take a break here because I'm so excited to talk to you all about this experience Eric Dunn and I are hosting this season called Jags at Home. This thing is for anyone that could use an extra $10,000. I mean, who couldn't? And the Jaguars are actually giving away $2,500 every quarter of every game to whoever predicts the outcome of the game most accurately. Will the Jaguars convert this third down? What will be the result of this red zone trip? If you think you know football and the Jaguars, why are you letting other people take this money that should be yours? It's not like if you top the leaderboard, you have a chance to win. If you top the leaderboard, you will win $2,500 every quarter, every game. Seriously. So when you're watching the game every week, visit jagsathome.com on a mobile device, tablet, or even a desktop, and come get this money. Even better, you get to hang out with me and Eric Dunn while we chat it up during breaks. Again, that's jagsathome.com. We'll see you there.
Jaguars Game Day is presented by ViStar Credit Union. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey from the Hanania Subaru of Orange Park Studio at TIAA Bank Field. The Publix Tailgate show rolls along, and the Dolphins and the Jaguars tee it up on Thursday Night Football in Week 3 at 8:20. This portion of the Publix Tailgate show is brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. And last week, Mike, tight ends were a little more involved than they were in Week 1 in the passing game. They certainly have been involved in the running game so far, ahead of James Robinson and helping out that offensive line. But 7 catches for Jags tight ends last week, and that's a good sign for that group moving ahead to get a little more balance. They've been participating in the run game, at least willing to go block, and now they're getting out and catching passes.
Well, I mean, Gardner only threw it 20 times in Week 1, so it was hard to get much of a read on what position groups were going to be focused on, and I don't think they brought Tyler Eifert here to cool his heels. You know, I mean, he's obviously a red zone weapon whenever he's healthy, and he has been throughout his career, and I think it showed last week.
Well, let's hear from tight ends coach Ron Middleton, who gives us an idea of how the group fits in with Jay Gruden's scheme.
What a fun offense to be a part of so far. 28.5 points a game? That sounds pretty good to me week to week.
No question. I tell you, it's something you can really, really get used to. Hope we can keep it going, but you know it's a new day every week. But it would be nice to keep rolling for sure.
No doubt. And the tight ends obviously are a big part of the offense, and they certainly were last week. 7 catches for tight ends in the game last week. And that's a big piece of Jay Gruden's offensive attack, at least in the past, and it's starting to show that tendency again. That's good news for your room.
No question. I tell you, to be involved, the guys take a lot of pride in it. They understand their importance to the offense, for sure in the run game, but now that they're getting a few crumbs in the passing game, that puts big smiles on their face also. So, yeah, last week was good, man. We got a few targets. Guys made some plays. You know, it's like I said, hopefully we can keep it going for sure.
I mentioned the catches. You brought up the run blocking of this group here, that a lot of folks who are just watching the game might not really look at that too in depth, but it's certainly key for the tight end position. Take us through the run blocking of those guys, Eifert and O'Shaughnessy especially, and how that has helped a guy like James Robinson come through and run the ball effectively.
They're not bruising blockers, either one of them. They got a lot of effort, and they'll fight you, and they put a lot of strain into their blocks. Good thing about it also is they are two smart players, understanding defenses and what the role of the backers and defensive ends are. If they have contained, well, if they widen their landmark a little bit, that'll get more movement, get them to widen a little bit more. Those craftiness, I'd say. You know, I'm more pleasantly surprised with Eifert's blocking than I expected. I'm getting a whole lot more from him than I expected. And not that he couldn't do it or whatnot, but I'll tell you, he hasn't backed away not one bit. Sure, don't get me wrong, I know what his bread and butter is, and, you know, hopefully we keep getting him the rock or giving him those targets out there. But it's real nice to be able to put him in the game, and defense is thinking that it's going to be a pass, and James Robinson run up in there for 10, 15 yards. That's a good thing, you know. So they take a lot of pride in being complete football players, and that really helps.
Ron Middleton with us, Jaguars tight ends coach. Let's continue our conversation on Eifert here. He had his 25th career touchdown last week, and he's in his 8th year. So on this roster, he is an elder statesman on this football team. He's been banged up a lot throughout his career, and we heard in the offseason from him about the mindset of a lot of times being injured and missing a lot of football games. He was finally on the field last year, and he seems like he has that confidence back about him that he's going to be able to go out there and not worry about anything that's happened in the past. But only experience can help a guy like that.
No doubt. I think he's come to the realization that some things are just out of your control. You can't dwell on it. You can't be scared of it. You just have to go out and let the chips fall where they may. He prepares himself to have to play 50, 60 snaps a game. We definitely don't want him to play that many snaps. We're gonna try to get the most out of his talents. But no, you can't worry about the injuries. Injuries are a part of the game, and in his case, it's just been unlucky and unfair to a certain degree with the injuries that he's had. But no, we don't dwell on it. We just go out and we work. Dare I say, it's like death. You know, it's possible, but we're not gonna sit and dwell on it every day. You know, just deal with it.
Ron Middleton with us, taking an interesting turn in this conversation. The Jaguars tight ends coach. He's a first rounder for a reason. I think we'll find that out. He has that ability. It's just a matter of keeping him out there. Now, another guy coming off injury, coaches James O'Shaughnessy, of course, had the knee injury last year. He's in his 6th year, and it's not like he hasn't had a lot of starting time over his entire playing career, but he has a huge role in this offense. How has he come back from the knee so far? And it seems like he's getting more involved now too.
Last year, let me start by saying last year when he got hurt, I thought James was about to turn the corner into being that productive tight end in this league. In fact, that game, the Carolina game where he did get hurt, you know, he had, I think, 100 yards receiving, had a couple of big catches, and like I said, he was about to turn that corner, and then bam, he gets hurt. Well, that was the big question coming in this year: is how was he gonna come back after the injury? Anybody in the training room will tell you that he busted his butt in the offseason. He busted his butt to get back out there. He did everything they asked him to do and more. Just a star rehabber, in their words, you know. it's paying off for him. Hopefully he can get to that point where he was last year when the injury came, and hopefully he can go farther and turn that corner to be the player that I think he's capable of being. Yeah.
Ron Middleton with us. Final thoughts here with you, Coach. You got a couple puppies in your room, too, in Tyler Davis, who hasn't had a lot of practice time yet, at least in the regular season, with knee issues, been on the injury report, has not been up yet this season. And then Ben Ellefson is on your practice squad. He has been up, coming off the practice squad late in weeks. What have you seen out of those guys, and how can you expect those guys to contribute as we move along?
Yeah, it's all been positive with those guys. I have nothing but positive thoughts, positive reports on those two, my youngsters, as I call them. I think Ben is a little more polished than Tyler right now. I think Tyler is still learning the learning the position. Ben is a tough guy with some tough player with some technique. That this isn't the first time he's blocked anybody. I think his route running, he has some it to his route running. He's not the fastest in the world, but I think he's got something that he can get open, and he has good hands. Tyler is a little bigger, a little faster, probably a little stronger, but not as polished as Ben. He hasn't played the position as long as Ben has, but the arrow is up on these guys now. The arrow is definitely up. We think a hell of a lot of both of them. I think we're going to see Tyler pretty soon. Yeah.
Coach, great stuff. Let's get some tight ends in the end zone. Let's get anybody in the end zone. Let's keep scoring points.
Let's go. Yes, no doubt.
Ron Middleton, tight ends coach. I could talk to him all day long.
He's the best guy in the whole staff to listen to. He really is. I really enjoy listening to Coach. But, one of the youngsters, of course, Josh Oliver, the guy that they won't get to look at this year, and through no fault of his own. I mean, it's just a, no pun intended, bad break. Broke the bone in his foot, and, you basically lost 2 years of your career right off the bat. Again, through no fault of your own. He came in tremendous shape, so you just kind of wonder what might have been with that. It's a good story that, O'Shaughnessy made it back to the way he has as quickly as he has, and it's nice to have Eifert right now, but, Eifert's got an injury history as well, and obviously O'Shaughnessy does, so, it's not the deepest group with Oliver out of the mix right now.
The Jaguars have introduced Jags at Home, an interactive second-screen experience on Jags game days featuring Ashlyn Sullivan and Eric Dunn. Each game day, you'll have the chance to win $10,000 in cash and prizes. Visit jagsathome.com for more information on how you can play. I was going to say Sunday, but today is not Sunday. Today is Thursday.
Yes.
And the Jags are playing on Thursday Night Football. We're back in a moment on the Publix Tailgate Show. Myles Jack explaining his reaction to being moved from middle linebacker to the weak side spot. The Dolphins and the Jaguars coming up on Thursday Night Football. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
I'm Chantel Baker, fiancée of DJ Chark. My fiancé is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. I'm always looking for easy ways to save time, and Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, assorted varieties of Always Ultra Thin, maxi pads, and liners are on sale for $5.49.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Jaguars fans, game day is back. And this year we've teamed up with Jameson to add another win to your week with official Jaguars and Jameson branded collectible stadium cups. They're only available for a limited time in the Jacksonville metro area. So grab yours today, pour a smooth Jameson, ginger and lime, and cheer on the Jags with Jameson. Taste responsibly. Jameson Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, product of Ireland, copyright 2020, imported by John Jameson Import Company, New York, New York.
Jaguars fans, did you know that with Drizzly, you can get Tito's handmade vodka delivered to your door in under 60 minutes? Well, you can. And now they're giving all fans $10 off their first order. Use the code JAGS10 at checkout. Just download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com and make sure you're all set to mix it up with Tito's handmade vodka for the perfect game day. That's DRIZLY.com. And remember to use the special code JAGS10 to save $10 on your first order. 80 proof Tito's handmade vodka. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Slot right, blue 42, hot, hot. A great quarterback is a true leader with a work ethic that never wavers and a desire to win that is second to none. We know a truck like that. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 43 years straight. With impressive towing and payload, Ford F-150 makes tough jobs look easy. Visit your local Ford dealer for great offers on F-150, official truck of the NFL. Based on 1977 to 2019 calendar year total sales.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm trees swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now. You're on Tropic time now. And right now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe, try our watermelon mojito and guava margarita smoothies. And you're tasting fruity now, sipping sunshine now, toasting summer now. You're on Tropic time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the large format printing services running in high gear, creating large banners for marketing events, full vehicle wraps. Learn how Kessler changes the game with print and direct mail innovation. From eye-catching restaurant menus to real estate yard signs and event displays, Kessler does it all. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
Welcome back, JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the Hanania Subaru of Orange Park studio at TIAA Bank Field. The Dolphins and the Jaguars kick off NFL Week 3 on Thursday Night Football, an 8:20 kickoff time. And tonight's game is presented by Bud Light Platinum Seltzer, made for the night. Well, we heard from Myles Jack this week. We haven't heard from him a lot.
Heard a lot
in
from
training
him
camp
this week.
We certainly did, and we'll hear a lot from him right now. There's a lot to talk about for Myles this year. He's leading the team in tackles, 22 of them, 11 in each of the first two games, and that's among the highest totals in the NFL early in this season. Fifth most in the league, tied for fifth in the league through 2 weeks. What was his reaction when he was told that the Jaguars were moving him out of the middle linebacker spot?
They told me pretty much that they were gonna make the switch, and I was cool with it completely. I understood like their mind frame and everything, and like obviously like last year, I mean it is what it is. I underperformed. I felt like it was due to my injury, but at the end of the day, it's a performance-based job, and like I felt like I completely like failed last year. So I completely understood what they were going for. And I mean that's the nature of the business. So when they did that, I was like, okay, I'm a will now, and I'm just gonna continue working hard, get my body right, get healthy, and just show everybody that I can still do what I've been doing. So I was really just excited, and then to have another baller with me and Joe, I thought it was better because I feel like as a linebacker, when you got somebody up to your caliber, just understands you guys can speak the same language, it makes your job that much easier. So it's really a tandem job, and I really felt like them bringing Joe in like really made it a lot easier for me. So it was cool.
It's a big move, another new position for Myles Jack. He's now played all three with the Jacksonville Jaguars. So at least so far, we've seen the fruits of that change.
Well, yeah, I mean, this was expected to be his most natural position, and he came in, and you had Telvin Smith, who was in the midst of leading the NFL in tackles for a 5-year period, playing the weak side. You had Paul Posluszny in the middle. Obviously, you took the talent when he fell to the second round in Myles Jack, and it was too good to pass up, and you said, we'll figure out how to use him. And when Puz was here, I thought it was a great linebacking group. And then, Myles in the middle with mixed results at best. And, here he's more just of a kind of a run and hit linebacker and doesn't have to worry about getting everybody lined up. He trusts having Schobert in the middle, that he's going to take care of his responsibilities, and it just frees him up, I think, mentally to go out there and play instinctively.
2017 was really the breakout for Myles with the big-time impact plays, especially in the stretch run, the playoffs, and the AFC Championship game. He was not down, by the way. But he said that knee injury has held him back a little bit, especially last season. He got it worked on this offseason. His recovery and refocus this offseason was paramount.
Last year, I wasn't healthy, and I forced myself to play through injury just because of, I just felt like I didn't want to get paid and then just say I got an injury, which I did have an injury at the time. But this offseason, I went to Australia, found a trainer out there. I just been working my ass off the whole offseason. Just kind of really just refocused myself, got back to the basics. I really treated myself like a high schooler. It was just hitting the weights, trying to get myself stronger, get my body right, get my knee back right. And I just really feel like that's attributed to just my training and just getting back healthy and really hitting the weights this year. Because I felt like when I kind of got in the league, I didn't really lift as much as I should have. So I kind of really went back to the basics, got my body right. And I feel like that's why I'm moving so quick and I'm able to hit linemen the way I can or make tackles or just fly around and just move fast. So really I just really had to refocus myself and recenter myself. And that's really what I focus on once I did my surgery and got right.
The way I understand it, it was the same knee that people were concerned about coming out in the draft, but a different part of the knee, not the everything that happened coming out in the draft and the slide down the draft boards that night. So.
Right. Talking with Mike DeRocco of ESPN earlier today, he said it was like a chip in the knee, that kind of like a floating body in there, as was described. But I will say this, listening to the rest of his comment there, 16 rookies on the opening day roster. Guys, hit the weights, okay? Don't wait until you've been in the league for a few. That's a little mysterious to me. How do you not figure out the regimen that you need to go through? He obviously figured it out this offseason. He says he feels so much better as a player, more explosive. So kind of wish that had occurred a little bit earlier in his career.
Let's hear one more from Myles. The changes this offseason. Familiar names shipped out. He's a familiar name still around here. He and Avery Jones, the only two starters left from the 2017 playoff defense. What was his reaction to all the changes, and how's it worked so far?
And this is the thing. Coach Marrone had a vision from the start, and obviously – from the outside looking in, it looked like, okay, well, Jags are just getting rid of everybody. But Coach Marrone, he just truly had a vision, and I think his vision was he just knew the people that he wanted in the building that he wanted, and he had his own vision. You know what I mean? And what he decided to go with was what he decided to go with. And, I truly feel like he's got the right plan. He's really trying to build this team atmosphere where as long as we got each other and we can, lock arms and stick together through the highs and lows. You guys have seen it. We've gotten down early against the Colts. They came down, punched us in the mouth 7-0, and then we fought back and won that game. You saw the Tennessee game. They got up on us. They ran a nice play on the first play of the game. Then they got up on us. It was 14-0 before we knew it. Teams on the past that I've been on, it kind of gets ugly once we get down. But this team, we just know that, okay, we're a team. We can depend on the offense a little bit, and the offense can eventually depend on the defense. We got to give them a little bit more, but they can depend on us. So it's really we get into halftime and everybody's just okay, tighten up, because we just don't want to disappoint not only the guys next to us on defense, but the guys on offense, the guys on special teams. So it's really a family environment that he's built. And I think you guys can see that on Sunday, the way we play and just the effort. And even when things go bad, we're still in it. We're still throwing punches and still fighting. So it's really cool, and I think his vision is coming to fruition, and you guys can kind of see it. It's really going to be special, I feel like.
I don't think Myles Jack has talked that long in a press conference. We only took 3 bites out of it, and
right.
It was a lengthy conversation yesterday, and it was good to hear from him, and he's in good spirits because things are going well.
Yes, and he censored himself a little bit. If you listen to the entire press conference, he's like, hey, how do I put this where it doesn't become a quote that everybody picks up? And he just said, basically, they've got the guys here that they want here and that want to be here, right? And I don't think that was a shot. That's just the reality that we've heard from all these players and the coaching staff as well, that this team is very cohesive. It's all for one for all kind of thing. And, I know people think that's kind of rah-rah sometimes, but they're really buying into it so far. And at least through a couple of weeks, the results have been pretty encouraging. Let's put it that way.
Let's see on a national stage if he has something special up his sleeve tonight on the defensive side. Myles Jack visiting with the media this week. Award-winning singer, songwriter, producer John Party will headline the first ever live drive-in concert experience in Jacksonville. The concert will take place in Lot J, adjacent to TIAA Bank Field and Daly's Place, Saturday, October 10th at 7:30. And a second show has now been added for Friday, October 9th. Tickets available to purchase per car with a maximum capacity limited to the number of seat belts per vehicle. Nobody in the trunk, Mike, okay?
All right.
Visit Ticketmaster.com for more. Time for our weekly visit with Jags sideline reporter Rick BALLOU, presented by McGowan's Heating and Air. We call it Has Rick Lost It?
Well, here we go. Under the bright lights, a Thursday evening in Jacksonville, and an opportunity now for everyone to take a look at this Jaguars football team. Remember, they're tanking for Trevor. What is this organization doing? Tell you what they're doing. They're playing some good football. They've scored 57 points in their first 2 games. But the question remains, what about the slow start, particularly on offense? And as well, they've been giving up opening drives defensively. They have to become a better team right out of the gate. Now, positive, in the second half, they're playing football as well as any team right now in the National Football League. As a matter of fact, their plus 17-point differential in the fourth quarter is tops in the NFL so far after a couple of weeks. There's also no quit on this team. 7-0 down against Indy, the great goal line stand. Down 14-0, and again, down nearly a couple of touchdowns at half. And they came back again and played some solid ball. Now the question remains, how will this team do when they're expected to win? They're a field goal favorite against Miami. You go back to the power rankings that came out in the preseason. They were 32 everywhere. As a matter of fact, Las Vegas this summer and through COVID and the early part of the fall before the season began, they were an underdog in each and every one of their 16 games. First time in the 26 years of the Jaguars franchise history that was actually the case. It's a young team. We've talked about it. Incredibly young. Can they win a game when they're expected to win a game? I think it's so important for this club to go out there, get an early lead, and do it in that particular fashion. They win tonight, then all of a sudden, you can look ahead, including at Cincinnati. All of a sudden, some of these games look very winnable. Again, can they win a game that they are supposed to? We'll find out in a couple of hours.
8:20 the kickoff time tonight. That's Has Rick Lost It, presented by McGowan's Heating and Air. Proudly keeping your family comfortable since 1974, 904-264-COOL. We're back on the Publix Tailgate show in a moment. After his first career sack, rookie defensive end CHAISSON sits down with Ashlyn Sullivan and our Baptist Health connection with a player. The Dolphins and the Jaguars tee it up tonight at 8:20 on Thursday Night Football. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Hey, it's the Good Greek Spiro, and I am proud to announce that Good Greek Moving and Storage is now the official mover of your Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are making all of the right moves, and you should too. So when it's time for you to move, do it like the Jags and call the Good Greek. Simply dial ** Greek from your cell or go to goodgreek.com. That's goodgreek.com. Good Greek Moving and Storage, official movers of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Good Greek Moving and Storage, your superhero movers.
Some things make a house your home. Like clean, fresh sheets that make a bed with the soothing scent of fabric softener your thing. When drying clothes with natural gas, you get faster, gentler drying times, save money, and earn a rebate up to $150. Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
This is Chantel Baker, fiance of DJ Chark. Enter for your chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime experience with the Jaguars. Imagine being selected as a Jaguar for the day, with prizes including the opportunity to test your skills with the Jaguars team trainer, a personalized Jaguars jersey, club-level tickets to a Jaguars home game, and more. Look for details at Publix, where you can pick up all your game day needs, including Tide, Bounty, and Crest. Tackle everything in one stop. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Hey Jags fans, it's Ashlyn Sullivan.
And Eric Dunn.
Here to tell you about our new
At-home
game day experience.
Each game, home or away, we're giving out cash prizes at the end of each quarter, totaling $10,000.
Cash?
Yes, cash money, y'all. Join us at www.jagsathome.com and play along.
Yeah, but we gotta tell them how to play.
Right, that's the easy part.
While you're watching the game on your big screen, visit www.jagsathome.com on your mobile device, tablet, or desktop, and answer Jags trivia and predictive gaming questions that appear on your screen.
The fan with the most points at the end of each quarter will take home a piece of the $10,000 cash prize.
And the leaderboard will refresh at the start of each quarter, giving you multiple chances to win even more cash.
www.jagsathome.com. Home and away.
We will see you all this Sunday at jagsathome.com.
I'm Jacksonville Jaguars General Manager Dave Caldwell. Did you know you can ride your bike to every Jaguars home game at TIAA Bank Field and valet it for free? Stop by our bicycle check-in tent sponsored by Alert Today, Florida, near Gate 1 at TIAA Bank Field. An on-duty Zen Cog bike professional will park your bike and ensure it's secure during the game. When the game is over, return your claim ticket to pick up your bike. For cycling safety tips, visit alerttodayflorida.com. Remember, Alert Today, alive tomorrow, because safety doesn't happen by accident. Go Jaguars.
Jaguars Game Day presented by ViStar Credit Union. The Publix Tailgate Show rolls along. JP Shadrick with Mike Dempsey. 8:20 the kickoff time tonight for Thursday Night Football. If the test of any Southern restaurant is how well it makes sweet tea and barbecue, well, Crystal has stepped up to the plate. The South's original quick service chain is launching pulled pork Memphis barbecue sliders, available now through mid-October. And they brought them here again tonight, Mike.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they did. They we might have to grab one
or two,
or a box full.
Yes.
Why not? The new limited time only menu boasts juicy, slow smoked pork that's slathered in Memphis barbecue sauce and topped with a hint of pickle on a freshly steamed bun for $169. That's right, $169. Visit your local Crystal today. Let's hear from a rookie, KAPLAN CHAISSON. Had his first career sack last week, but his number of snaps was way down from week one. And he caught up with Ashlyn Sullivan this week in the Baptist Health Connection with a player.
And Caleb, I'm hearing mixed signals here about this game. Primetime game. The only game on TV the entire country's watching. Do you see this as a chance to show the entire country what this team is all about?
Oh, most definitely, man. I've been excited. I've been telling the guys all week how excited I am. It's been the primetime game, the only game on. I feel like the world, we can put on notice about how talented we are and how determined we are to get to that next level as a team. And I feel like, from the game last week, I feel like people's kind of taking notice. I feel like we still wanted to finish it the way we wanted to finish. But every week we're getting better. And I feel like this week is definitely a week that we can prove it and show it worldwide.
And you're coming off a game where you recorded a sack against the Titans. And Gardner Minshew was not shy this week to poke a little fun at Josh Allen for not getting a sack yet. Have you joined in on the fun against J Money, as you like to call him?
I've been picking at him every day, like, bro, do you still play for us? I feel like we playing with 10 on the field. I let him know that every day. And, yeah, I know he be getting a lot of attention on the field. I just try to give him a hard time, just pull out the best of him, just how he try to do and pull out the best of me.
Is it an everyday thing? Avery Jones told us that he comes into the stadium every day, and one of his main goals is to make fun of Josh Allen.
Every day. Josh is very unique. Let's say that. Josh is one of a kind that we all know that. And it's funny messing with him because, sometimes he don't really have an answer back. So we put him on hush mode. And sometimes when you know how Josh get, when he get to talking, bro, he can be talking for a little minute. So it's very interesting when you mess with Josh.
His press conferences can be long-winded, that's for sure. All right, Caleb, speaking of making fun of each other, SEC football is coming up this week, and in that defensive line room has a lot of options. You got Josh Allen with Kentucky, yourself with LSU, Avery Jones, Georgia, Taven, Florida. Has the trash talking started yet? Because I'm sure it will at some point.
I feel like everybody kind of know better. I feel like they keep it amongst themselves and don't come at the big dog. I mean, it's just obvious. We didn't beat every team in there. I mean, Josh, at this point, I feel like he just don't need to talk at all. I mean, at this point, he's looking from the outside in. But Abe and Taven, I feel like they just need to converse with each other, and until they figure out their kinks, then they can come talk to the big dogs, and we'll maybe put them on a set an appointment to have a conversation with them.
You just started something, I feel like. I think I just opened up a wound. We talked last week about your new dog, China, and you were saying that potty training, hasn't been going so well. You've been a little busy. So tell me, has it improved since then? Do we have a game plan on how we're going to handle the potty training?
I feel like she's picking on me at this point. I'm, 2 or 3 in the morning, she get to hollering and screaming, and we next thing you know, we spending an hour outside at 2 in the morning trying to figure out. For some reason, she's been using the restroom inside the house. I've been working hard at that, but then she goes outside and finds concrete instead of grass. So I feel like it's just one thing after another, and I don't know, man. It's just something that I'm gonna have to keep working with. Definitely the patience has been grown since day one, but we're gonna keep working on that.
China, come on, girl, get it together. You're a busy guy. All right, Caleb, thanks so much for joining us ahead of Thursday Night Football.
Thank you.
Caleb CHAISSON with Ashlyn Sullivan there. I love the line. Bro, do you still play for us?
We're out here playing with just 10 on 11. So much for being seen and not heard as a rookie, by the way.
Right.
I mean,
out
sorry.
the window.
Hey, you may have had 10 and a half sacks, but you still played at Kentucky, okay? So that's that.
The scoreboard right now is 1-0 in favor of Caleb, though, for the season.
Right, for the sack lead this year, absolutely.
That's our Baptist Health connection with a player, defensive end Caleb CHAISSON, Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. He's 21 years old. He just turned 21 in July, which is pretty remarkable to hear. Jaguars Director of Player Development Marcus Pollard takes us inside the team each week, this time after the Week 2 loss to the Titans and heading into a short week.
Former NFL tight end Marcus Pollard. What's up?
Holding it down, as always.
You always are. It never fails, man. You've done well so far, and you're holding it down. And the Jags are now 1-1 after a gritty effort last week to climb back in that football game, down 14-0 early, down 14-0 at halftime in the third quarter, and then here comes Gardner Minshew to kind of climb the offense back in with 3 touchdown drives. The defense had stops in the second half when they needed a couple to get the game tied. But overall, to have this group come back and rally like that on the road, I think says a lot about this team, even though they had the losing result.
I think that's one thing that Doug Marrone has been very adamant about. He really likes this team. He really likes the character and the content that the team possesses. And to me, it really showed up on Sunday. You're down 14, you find a way to battle back, and defense probably give up some scores they wish they could have back. But in all of that, it was a really cool experience to be around a team that nobody pointed fingers, and everybody was generally like, dang, we could be a pretty good football team. And so to me, that's encouraging, especially going on the road, not having to deal with the fans, but really well-coached football team with a lot of good football players.
Yeah, there were some self-inflicted wounds, of course, in this game that kind of made the difference. And sometimes when those things happen, that's when you can see the finger pointing and everything happening. So I think that's a step in the right direction.
Definitely a step in the right direction. To me, it's even a bigger step because we're one of the younger teams in the league. And to have that sort of togetherness and the gelling without the finger pointing, without some of the older leadership that we've been accustomed to here, is very, very surprising and very exciting to be a part of that, knowing that we got a bunch of young guys that can lead for the future.
Marcus Pollard with us. This offense looks really fun to be a part of. If you're a skill guy, you can't wait to get on the field. There's guys, I'm sure, fighting to get on the grass every Sunday.
Yeah, it's like that in practice, too, which makes it even better. Because then on Sundays, it's like, okay, now this really counts. And to see guys in practice that want to take a snap, that want to run a deep ball, because you never know. Sometimes you have the circle drawn on and throw it to this guy. But in this offense, man, everybody's a capable weapon, a capable receiver. And so when you get in the game and you get the Minshew mania going and you get the run game going, play action, and the calls that Coach Gruden's making, I wish I could be in this offense right now because I can come out and play right now in this offense in retirement age.
Get the knees warmed up, and maybe you can get back out there. Marcus Pollard is with us. And speaking of tight ends, 7 catches for tight ends last week, including Tyler Eifert in the end zone. They're getting a little more involved as the weeks go along here, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's a great sign, especially having played the position for so long. And I have my eye on that position all the time. And you can just see everywhere Jay has been, he's made a tight end a focal point of the offense. And, this season's not going to be any different. So it's just exciting to see, 7 catches to those tight ends, a bunch of young guys, and then see the old savvy vet and Tyler, getting in there and getting something too. So it's really cool to see.
Defensively, Marcus, it's a 14-0 deficit right out of the gate, so right down the field a couple of times, and it's the second straight week that seems to have happened. How do you correct it? Is it just a young group trying to get their bearings early in a game? Are they being schemed early with the script on the other side? How does that happen, and how do you adjust to it?
2 teams we played so far have had a little bit more experience than us collectively. So I think without having those preseason games, I think our guys are still trying to figure out what that should look like, how to get going early. But I think, this week will be a better indication of what that should look like for our team. Hopefully get out into a quicker start. But I think it's something that they will start to figure out in time. And I think not having those preseason games could be a little bit of a hurt.
Okay, Marcus, no high school player or coach of the week tonight because they haven't played high school games yet this week. It's Thursday night football, but we will have those again coming up next week when the Jaguars face the Cincinnati Bengals. And as always, we appreciate your time. Great to chat with you.
Man, I love being on here, man. Thank you. I'm going to keep holding it down.
Marcus Pollard, Director of Player Development for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, every week he has the CSX High School Player of the Week and the Whataburger High School Coach of the Week. None this week because it's Thursday. We'll double up next week before the Jags face the Bengals in Cincinnati. Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer, the Hella Mega Tour. One night, 3 of rock's biggest bands at TIAA Bank Field, July 31st, 2021. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. I'll see you there, Mike.
Oh, you know you will.
Coming up on the
front
second
row.
Yeah, front row.
The
indeed.
mosh pit, if they don't, I'm not going.
It's a little early. It's next summer, but July 31st, you'll find out. Coming up in the second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show, top headlines of the week. Plus, First Rounds on Us, our weekly visit with our resident first rounders, Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman. The Dolphins and the Jaguars meet on Thursday Night Football. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
At most sandwich places, asking for more of something is just part of the drill. But what if you never had to ask for more? What if more was just a given? At Daly's, more is what our sandwiches are built on. More meat, more cheese, more veggies, more quality, more taste. All for a price that's anything but more. Sandwiches from Dash, made fresh. Daly's.
Jaguars fans, did you know that with Drizzly, you can get Tito's handmade vodka delivered to your door in under 60 minutes? Well, you can. And now they're giving all fans $10 off their first order. Use the code JAGS10 at checkout. Just download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com and make sure you're all set to mix it up with Tito's handmade vodka for the perfect game day. That's DRIZLY.com. And remember to use the special code JAGS10 to save $10 on your first order. 80 proof Tito's handmade vodka. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Nothing kicks off your game better than a handful of Georgia peanuts. Power-packed with protein, essential nutrients, and great taste, Georgia peanuts are the MVP for affordability, sustainability, and nutrition. To score life's touchdowns with recipes and fun facts, check out GAPeanuts.com. The perfectly powerful peanut is brought to you by the family farmers of the Georgia Peanut Commission.
Peanuts! Get your peanuts!
Hey Jaguars fans, are you ready to talk some trash? Well, nobody talks trash quite like Waste Pro, the official waste service and recycling partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Specializing in residential and commercial solid waste and recycling collection, processing, and disposal, Waste Pro is equipped to handle all your recycling and garbage removal needs. For service, call 904-731-7288. Waste Pro, caring for communities and caring for Jacksonville.
Some things make a house your home. Like a quick heating oven that makes the aroma of warm chocolate chip cookies your thing. When cooking with natural gas, you get the best temperature control, save money, and earn a rebate up to $200.
Who wants cookies?
Your home. Our safe, reliable, efficient energy. Love natural gas. Find rebate details at peoplesgas.com.
Looking to be your own boss in a proven business model? Do you like construction and working outdoors? Superior Fence and Rail is franchising in new markets all over the Southeast, from Birmingham to Savannah and even a few more markets in Florida. Come win with Superior Fence and Rail and redefine the fence industry. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail to learn more about starting a fence franchise today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
The Publix Tailgate Show continues right now.
Welcome in, second hour of the Publix Tailgate Show. JP Shadrick along with Mike Dempsey at the Hananier Subaru of Orange Park Studio at TIAA Bank Field. 8:20 kickoff time on Thursday Night Football. The 0-2 Miami Dolphins and the 1-1 Jacksonville Jaguars open NFL Week 3. The game presented by Bud Light Platinum Seltzer, made for the night. Well, the Jags have some injury issues going into this game, really for the first time this season. That'll be a big question tonight. It's a young team that has played pretty well on the offensive side. They've got some questions on defense, certainly early in games, Mike, but they've got a chance on a national stage tonight to maybe quiet some of the haters and doubters about this team going into the season at least.
Yeah, in the end, your record's going to do what it does, you know what I mean? I mean, they can hate you, they can doubt you. If you win enough games, you're going to go to the playoffs, right? So it doesn't really matter in the end. But if you want to have a good narrative about the Jags for the next few days, because they're the team that's playing tonight against Miami, win this game tonight and do it impressively. Well, just win the game. That's the most important thing. But if they go out, JP, and they show the same kind of style of offense that they've had, and even if it's a back-and-forth game and Gardner Minshew looks like kind of the real deal at quarterback like we think he has for the first couple weeks of the season, I do think it will open eyes around the league. And, I mean, this was universally the team that was picked to finish dead last out of all 32. You practically couldn't find a power poll that had them ranked higher than that. I mean, I remember one or two that had them 31st, and that was it. So, yeah, to be 2-1 with some other winnable games, I mean, including Miami, the Jaguars' next four opponents have a combined record of 0-8. So go get them.
Yeah, they're going to hate the Jags anyway. Might as well go win the football game.
Go win
right?
the football game, and who cares what they think about you?
Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
Beautiful night for football here in Jacksonville. Bright sunshine outside. Hope you're safe coming downtown tonight for the game at TIAA Bank Field. Let's get to the top stories, starting with the injury issues. 3 players ruled out already. DJ Chark was downgraded to out today. Brandon Linder, the center, and kicker Josh Lambo also out for this game. Tyler Shatley will start at center. And an undrafted rookie kicker, Brandon Wright, will make his NFL debut tonight, called up from the practice squad. What is Doug Marone's confidence level in this rookie kicker from Georgia State?
High. I think, sometimes you do things early on to protect yourself. It's unfortunate. You don't ever want to use that stuff, Mark, but here's the guy that we brought into camp. We really liked him. We wanted to spend some time with him, and then we had to make a move, to fill up a roster spot. And we wound up letting him go, knowing that, in the back of our minds, we were going to bring him back to basically thinking about the COVID situation, if something happened to one of our kickers. And unfortunately, Josh went on the IR. But I think I'd have a whole lot different type of anxiety if we just took someone off the street and hasn't been. But he's been here kicking. I've been watching him kick. So I got full confidence in him in any phase that we use him. That's the one thing great about the kid is he can do all three. He can kick off. He can kick field goals. He can punt. I mean, and he has a really, really strong leg, and he's really athletic.
That's nearly a minute there from head coach Doug Marone on the undrafted rookie kicker from Georgia State, Brandon Wright. Well, here it is. It's your opportunity, kid.
Yeah, look, I get it. If you see him in practice every day and he's making the kicks, you would have that confidence level in him. And I think a lot of teams are doing this, having a kicker on standby because of COVID-19 when you don't know if something's going to pop up, have time to bring somebody in. So that's a smart move. But let's see when it really matters, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of guys come through. They love Jason Myers' talent, right? And he couldn't kick it through the uprights when he was here in a Jaguar uniform. He leaves here. He becomes a Pro Bowler with the Jets. Now he's having a successful career with the Seahawks. So, you know what? Maybe Brandon Wright comes in and he's nailing everything. And we're like, wow, this guy's a chip off the old Lambeau block. But we're going to have to find out tonight.
Yeah, we'll find out. And we'll see what when the situation arises, how Doug Marrone plays it. With
Right,
the
right.
rookie.
Do you have, with Lambeau, 53-yarder, you'd roll him out there, not a problem. And you know that he's got a better than average chance of making that, a way better than average chance of making that. So, yeah, you're right. What will they do? Will they be a little more aggressive on fourth down? Will they punt in certain situations, or are they going to let him kick the kicks that his leg strength dictates he can try?
The offense so far has put up 57 points, tied for fourth in the AFC with the Chiefs, and so far so good according to Jay Gruden, but still plenty left to get done.
Yeah, I think there's room for improvement. The one thing I'm most pleased about is the effort these guys play with, and they play physical everywhere. The receivers have done a great job in the running game. I mentioned that week one, and they're very unselfish. So far, so good, that is. We're spreading the wealth around. A lot of people are touching it, and I think the players are genuinely happy when we have success, and it doesn't have to be an individual person for them to feel that way. So they play hard. They're unselfish. They're playing smart right now. So I think there's a great upside because of that for this season.
Last week in the losing effort, 100-yard running back. They had 8 different players make catches on offense, so spreading it around is a real thing for Jay Gruden here.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, a bunch of guys. That's why you feel like, for one night, and hopefully it's only one night, you can get by without DJ Chark because Keelan Cole's played a prominent role. Laviska Shenault seems to have picked things up quite quickly. Chris Connolly is a vet that you trust. Hey, look, Dede Westbrook has been a game day healthy and active, but it's not like Dede hasn't played a lot of football. You trust him in the passing game and maybe even the return game a little bit.
You mentioned Laviska Shenault. He's turned into quite a weapon for Jay Gruden. Lined up at receiver in the jet sweep, the running back, playing in the Wildcat, taking direct snaps. The former Jags running back, Fred Taylor, loves the options, of course, and has heard his height and weight before.
I came in, I was 6'1", 227, my rookie year. And the thing about being able to be as versatile as he is, Coach Gruden can get very creative. He can put those guys in the quarterback position, the running back position. He can put them in tight so those guys can run reverses, quick handoffs, motion handoffs. So you can get very creative with a guy who's as versatile.
Same exact height and weight when Fred came in. Now the speed might be a little bit different with Fred Taylor, but he's showing a lot on this offensive side, and that's a great sign.
Yeah, Laviska's not slow, by the way.
Right,
he's
right.
plenty fast, and he's very physical, and he's going to break a lot of arm tackles, and we're, I think, only seeing the surface being scratched of all the different interesting ways that he's going to be used this year.
Let's get to defense now. Last week, Josh Allen had a couple quarterback hits, but was again held without a sack. This week, a different challenge with the Dolphins offense that has a different look.
Felt like last week did more reading than I should have. Like you said, play action pass. Now I just got to know situations on when they could do play action pass, and that was something I'm going to get better on. So this week I know the RPO is a little bit quicker. So if that first read's not there, I know he's going to hold on to that ball. So that's going to give me more opportunity to really get after this man. I've just been working on my eyes, watching film, see little keys that I can pick up on these guys so I can play pass first. But the really thing is, man, is just to get them to second and long, third and long.
You get a feeling that Josh is going to come out one of these games and have like 2 or 3 of these things and really open the spigot.
Well, it's not like the talent went anywhere. Like you said, you got to get in the right situations. And that in part means playing with a lead and putting teams in obvious passing situations when it is 2nd and 6. And they feel the pressure because they're down or it's 3rd and long, you can kind of, pin your ears back, get after them, and not worry about the run. And they haven't found themselves in that position. They've only led for a few minutes, and that was at the end of the first game. So, if they can establish a lead early tonight, maybe we'll see Josh Allen get that kind of game.
Caleb CHAISSON, we heard from him earlier. He got his first career sack last week. In week 1, though, he played 62% of the snaps, but only 29% of the defensive snaps in Week 2. Defensive coordinator Todd Wash explained the reduction.
A lot of it depends on the offenses that we play. You know, if they're out there in a lot of 11 personnel, then we can put both of our defensive ends or our rushes on the field at the same time. If they're using a lot of big people, down and distance tendencies all determine that. I know everybody sits and just counts the numbers, but you really got to look into the game and see what we're facing and see what we're trying to do defensively or as a team to be successful. If there's an opportunity to get him on the grass, he will be on the grass, no doubt.
And it's a good thing when both those guys are out there because they've got to get home at some point to the quarterback.
Yep. You got to put a threat and a little bit of fear into opposing offensive coordinators. They haven't been able to do that very much so far.
The Jaguars Game Day radio broadcast is presented by ViStar Credit Union. If you believe no car payment for 90 days is better, join ViStar, a standard feature on new or used car loans. ViStar never forgets that it's your money. Time for our weekly visit with the guru, David Lamb. Here he is with Lamb at Law.
Thanks, guys. I'll miss the fans tonight for the Jaguars' only national game of the year. Okay, it's the NFL Network, but it's still national, and state rival Miami's in town. Moving along, I understand why so many of you are excited by the play of quarterback Gardner Minshew in the season's first 2 games. I feel the same. It's more than the numbers, which have been impressive. Minshew looks like a quarterback. He has the moxie, the savvy, the swagger of what you expect from your quarterback. He keeps his eyes downfield. He's accurate, from the pocket and on the move. He can run, but he prefers to pass. He makes his teammates better. Name the last Jaguars quarterback who had all of those qualities. I can't think of one. Minshew is still developing, and that's exciting. Let's not forget he needs plenty of help. His scrambling has covered up some missed blocks. He spreads his passes around, keeping all the receivers engaged. Against Tennessee, he completed 30 passes to 8 different receivers. DJ Shark looks like a potential number 1. Keelan Cole is back. Maybe the key this season will be the rookies. After years of mediocre drafting, the Jaguars seem to have hit on several rookies, including an undrafted running back, James Robinson. I still shake my head about some of the players the Jaguars have let go. I think Calais Campbell would help this team on the field and in the locker room. Coach Doug Marrone still has a lot of work to do. So far, his youngest team still believes in the messages he's delivering. What will happen after a couple of bad losses? Talent-wise, the Jaguars are still at the bottom half of the NFL, but it appears they have what every team must have to climb out of a hole. That, of course, is a playmaking quarterback who is bold enough to make big-time throws and mentally tough enough to bounce back when things start going bad. Everything Minshew has shown us in these first 2 games, he might just be that guy.
David Lamb, the guru with Lamb at Large, and the comments of David Lamb are a weekly feature of the Publix Tailgate show.
Yeah, well, let's hope that we've seen a lot of good things out of Minshew. He's played basically 1 year of football right now. So, we got a long way to go before we have to decide whether he's the franchise or not, and things are off to a good start. And I agree with Dave that Calais Campbell could have helped this team in tangible ways. I don't know if you pay $15 million for that kind of help on a team that's turning over to be so young, and it was a tough spot to be in. A beloved player. I don't know many players that have left that the Jags didn't renew that the fan base has been more upset about.
Well, the guy was a Walter Payton Man of the Year.
He's
also
fantastic. Right, sure he was.
Yeah.
But that doesn't win you football games
That's
necessarily, right? So Calais is still a good player. I don't think he's a $15 million player, and I think that's ultimately the decision that they made. They agreed.
Farah and Farah reminds you to continue to wear a mask, help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Farah and Farah, protecting you and your family since 1979. When we return, First Rounds on Us. Our weekly visit with our resident first rounders, Tony Baselli and Jeff Lageman in the broadcast booth. The Dolphins and the Jaguars coming up at 8:20 on Thursday Night Football. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.
Storm season is here, and JEA is doing everything possible to prepare. We've invested millions in hardening our electric, water, and sewer systems to make them more resistant to extreme weather. By updating your contact information and signing up for alerts, you'll You'll also be better prepared if a storm hits. And in the event we need to restore your power, we can keep you up to date on our efforts and get you back to normal sooner. Update your contact info today at JEA.com. JEA, building a more prepared community.
You're working from home. So how do you connect with coworkers and clients? With RingCentral, the #1 global communication solution for business. RingCentral makes talking, texting, collaborating, and video calls easy. And it's all on one platform. And when we say everyone should be connected, we mean it. It's why we're giving RingCentral free to educators, health providers, and nonprofits. Learn more at ringcentral.com. Welcome to the new RingCentral.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Joe Adib from Bono's. I just want to let you know that we have now reopened all of our dining rooms. We appreciate all the love that you have showed us during this crisis. For over 71 years, we have been here for you through good times and bad. Our award-winning barbecue and our unbelievable staff look forward to seeing you soon. Be safe.
Any repeated physical activity puts stress on the body. Checking your phone, getting in the car, sitting at your desk, checking the phone, getting in your car, sitting at your desk, checking your phone for the 50th time today. If you do anything with regularity, you should get massaged with regularity. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Regular body work makes the body work with massage, skincare, and stretch. Come in today for more information or visit massageenvy.com for more details.
Slot right, blue 42, hot, hot. A great quarterback is a true leader with a work ethic that never wavers and a desire to win that is second to none. We know a truck like that. Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 43 years straight. With impressive towing and payload, Ford F-150 makes tough jobs look easy. Visit your local Ford dealer for great offers on F-150, official truck of the NFL. Based on 1977 to 2019 calendar year total sales.
If something's been hurting, aching, or bothering you, don't ignore it any longer. It's time to take care of your health again. It's time to make an appointment with a Baptist Health primary care doctor or specialist. Call 904-202-4U to schedule a virtual visit or see a doctor in person at a Baptist Health location. The time for better health is here. Call 904-202-4YOU or visit getbetterjacks.com.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the Hanania Subaru of Orange Park Studio at TIAA Bank Field. The Publix Tailgate Show continues. The Jags and the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football coming up at 8:20. Tickets for the Daly's Place 2021 season are on sale now. Great seats available for incredible shows like Kane Brown, Maren Morris, Alicia Keys, Doobie Brothers, Rod Stewart, Blackberry Smoke, Matchbox 20, Tedeschi Trucks Band, and much more. Go to dailysplace.com for more information and to buy tickets. Time now for First Rounds on Us.
New York Jets, first round choice, Jeff Lageman.
Jacksonville Jaguars have selected tackle Southern California, Tony Baselli.
Only way to the top is looking out for number one. That's us. Keep looking out for number one.
We welcome in our resident first-round draft picks. Jeff Lageman, 1989 to the New York Jets. Tony Baselli, 1995 to your Jacksonville Jaguars. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
JP, how are we doing tonight?
We're great. Primetime football coming up, Tony.
Time, Jags, Dolphins, the battle for Florida.
The Sunshine State Showdown.
Wait a minute. The
here.
I-95 battle. Who owns the I-95 corridor?
I think a lot of people would tell you that the team in Tampa might be the best team in Florida right now.
Last time I checked.
They got the GOAT.
Last time I checked, we're 1-1. They're 1-1.
True.
Hey, you know what? We'll find out.
We'll see him in the Super Bowl in Tampa, right?
Yeah, let's go.
Hey, this is the battle of the youngins.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, holy cow! I mean, you're talking about the two youngest football teams in the National Football League playing in prime time. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch it. The only thing that would make it better is that if Tua were playing in this ball game.
You know, Jeff, it's a great point, and I got a question for everyone, why is he not playing? Like
know.
you're like in rebuilding mode. Like you're not going to the playoffs. You're not going to the Super Bowl this year. Why would you play? Nothing against Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Are you scared that he might fracture his hip?
Well, then why'd you draft him?
I mean, that's a 5th overall pick for a guy that's got a bad hip.
I would have rolled him out there and let's go, or I wouldn't draft him. Either one.
Well, we did see Patrick Mahomes basically sat his whole rookie year. Then Lamar Jackson played as a part-time player, and they ended up winning MVP in their second year. So, pretty recent precedent for it.
Mike, that's fair, but here's the difference. They had Joe Flacco. They thought they were a playoff team with Joe Flacco, and they changed when Flacco wasn't the guy and injuries and got beat up, and then Lamar Jackson came in and they changed who they were, and now we have the Ravens as we know it. Patrick Mahomes was a different story. That was a playoff team. They had Alex Smith, who was a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, and they were going through the process of knowing that Patrick Mahomes was the future, but they still had a chance to get to the playoffs, which they did that year. This is a Miami Dolphins team that's in complete rebuild.
Wait a minute. What's wrong with Fitzmagic?
They're not going to the playoffs, buddy. I mean, look at this roster. Look at they're not going.
I honestly think that they're holding off on Tua in Miami because they've got 2 rookie offensive linemen who, by the way, are pretty good.
Playing good football.
Me and Tony were talking about that a little bit ago, JP and Mike. And but, you with rookie offensive linemen, you never know. So maybe they're letting them get a little bit of experience under their belt. And the longer that you can kind of delay that, as far as putting Tua in, the better for your offensive line, the better for Tua to continue to heal, and the more acclimated that he can get to the NFL game.
And that's fair. And Mike, your point is very fair too, because you're right. There is precedence. There's a school of thought. Let a guy, kind of sit and learn from the sidelines. I don't buy that. I don't think you learn from the sidelines. I think you got to go do it. But you could find cases where that school of thought has worked very well. So. But I wish he was playing. With all that said, because it'd be fun to watch.
I just hope that Fitzpatrick doesn't get hot, because he has the capability of getting hot.
He can shred you.
All right, guys. So 3 major injuries tonight. 3 players out for the Jaguars. DJ Chark downgraded today to out. Brandon Linder's not playing. And kicker Josh Lambo is out. I'm going to ask this question. I know the answer, but I want your response. Which one is the worst for this Jaguars team tonight?
All right. Well, let me start with this, because I think DJ Chark is going to be missed in a big way because the Miami Dolphins play a ton of man, and when you're in man coverage in the Jaguars offense, there's one direction that you want to go, and that's DJ Chark's. I mean, he's your best player. He's your best wide receiver. I don't know if there's anybody in the league that can shut him down. I think there's guys maybe that might be able to do a pretty good job against him. But, I mean, this is the game that you want to have DJ. Now, I might change my mind if all of a sudden the game is coming down to the last minute. The Jaguars need a field goal. I'm going to be going, Lambo is the most important one.
If there's 3 seconds left and it's a 50-yard field goal, then Lambo's the most missed player. I'm going to go a different direction. I think we're deep at wide receiver. And, yes, DJ Chark is their best player. But I think Laviska Shenault and what he has been able to do, Keelan Cole's having a great year. I think they got weapons there. And so, wow, I don't want to be without them in the long run.
I can't believe the offensive lineman in you didn't go with Brandon Linder.
I'm not done yet. I'm going through. I'm doing process elimination, Jeff. So I would not pick DJ Chark. I would never pick a kicker. Just out of principle, even if it is the 3 seconds and a 50-yarder, it's obviously.
Absolutely you would. if your job was on the line and you're the head coach.
Okay, fair enough. You're right. But it's absolutely Brandon Linder. Because what is the one thing that this team has done differently this year, consistently in the first 2 weeks, that we did not do last year at all? And that's block. We are run blocking very well. James Robinson's done a good job behind that offensive line. And guess what? Gardner Minshew has a clean pocket. And so that offensive line is critical. And I think losing Brandon Linder hurts more than anything else.
All right, guys, we've all talked about the need to get the pass rush cranked up, and you got to play with a lead oftentimes to do that. What are the odds you give the Jags to get home a little bit more tonight on Fitzpatrick than they had the first couple weeks?
Well, it's got to come from 2 guys. I mean, really. It's CHAISSON and Josh Allen. I mean, that's –
But, Jeff, you have to get pushed in the middle for outside guys to get there.
Tony, tell me who's going to get pushed.
Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you. It really helps.
That's my point is that, look, I mean, when the season started, you were thinking, okay, we got Big Al Woods. He can push the pocket a little bit. Maybe we got Rodney Gunner. But, those two guys are not available. Rodney's retired, obviously, with a heart, and Al Woods opted out. Taven Bryan, everybody's wanting to toot his horn saying he's gotten better, but he's still not an effective pass rusher on the inside. He had one good rush last week, but, for the most part, he's a first-round pick, but I'm sorry, he's not playing like the expectations attached to a first-round pick. So Josh Allen and CHAISSON got to do something special if this team is going to be able to put pressure consistently on the quarterback with a four-man rush. And the reality is, I don't think it's going to happen.
They got to blitz.
They got to blitz, and they got to bring an extra guy. They got a zone blitz. You got to bring 5. You got to bring 6. You got to bring 4 in creative ways, and mix it up and try to confuse a quarterback. And I don't know if you can confuse this guy tonight.
Well, now the one thing is he's not afraid to hold it because he wants to make plays down the field, and he is not afraid to throw it into tight coverage. And my guess is the Jags will get 2 to 4 opportunities with their hands on the ball to make a play on defense, meaning an interception. Now, if you can rush the passer, it even increases the probability of that happening. So, but I'm with Jeff, Mike, and JP. I just don't think they can do it with 4 guys.
All right, guys. Gardner Minshew in this spotlight last year put on a show in the stadium on Thursday Night Football. Do you buy when the lights come on, this guy steps it up a different way, and what have you seen out of the quarterback so far?
Well, do I buy it? It happened once.
Okay. Is it a one-off, or can it happen? Is that his MO?
Can we get more of a trend?
I'm buying it. I'll
buy it.
100%. He's 100% right now, and there's only one chance.
It's a small sample size.
So?
I'll buy it just because I want it to happen. I don't know. The only thing I know about Gardner Minshew, like related to the question, JP, is the dude has moxie, and the dude doesn't get rattled, and he likes big moments, and he seems to perform when the pressure's at the highest. So I'll go with it. I'll say yes. I'll say he loves the lights, and he's going to perform great tonight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We're talking, and I think the one stat that really stands out is that the Jaguars are the number 1 offense in the National Football League in third down production, and one of the big reasons for that is Gardner Minshew is the number 2 rated quarterback in the National Football League in third down rating. That's pretty good, So
money down. That's the money down.
That's where quarterbacks get paid. To move the sticks and keep on going. So he's doing a great job. And every week he has a couple plays where you sit there and you go, uh-oh, that's not so good.
They were early last week.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden he has throws that happen later on, like the throw to Chris Thompson where an unblocked Clowney is coming down the pipe. You can't get any better than that. That's as good as it gets. And so when you see throws like that, it makes you amazed. And then when you see throws that happen early in the game, near interceptions, you go, these are traits of a young quarterback. But the reality is, guys, we're not seeing a lot of the traits of a young quarterback with Gardner Minshew, not with the frequency of most quarterbacks at the age that he is right now.
Guys, Dede Westbrook was a healthy scratch first couple of weeks. We would expect him to be up with DJ Chark not playing. Do you expect him to have a role in the return game tonight?
That's interesting because Claybrook struggled last week. He's got nothing going in the punt return, a bunch of fair catches more than anything, and he hasn't had very many opportunities because we've only seen 3 punts so far this year. But the big, kind of mistake, Jeff, was the kickoff
the muff kick. So bounce it off his chest, goes out. The
my guess is though they give him one more week. I don't think Dede Westbrook's back there this week.
If Dede Westbrook is healthy and ready to go, no question. You take young man Claybrooks out.
But do you think they will? I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think it'll be Claybrooks. I'm guessing.
Doug's been preaching all year long about taking the labels off of the players, the draft status and all that kind of stuff, and how you got here and all that kind of stuff. This is a production-based business. The reality is that Claybrooks hasn't been productive. And he had 2 weeks to have an impact. He hasn't had an impact yet, and he darn near cost his football team last week big in the game against Tennessee. So in my opinion, if Dede is ready to go, let him go.
Ruthless, Jeff. You're ruthless.
That's the way it is, baby.
PRI Productions, the Southeast full-service event company, has everything you need to bring your next idea to life. Visit PRIProductions.com and learn more. We'll come back in a moment with the inactives. Frank Frangie hops in the booth with Tony and Jeff, and it's time for the Geico Fantasy Outlook. The Jags and the Dolphins coming up at 8:20 on Thursday Night Football. And this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio. Headquartered right here in Jacksonville, the CSI Companies is one of the fastest growing staffing firms in the nation. As a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars, CSI knows how important it is to find the right people for your team. See why some of Jacksonville's top companies choose CSI for their staffing needs. Visit thecsicompanies.com or call 800-582-0828 today. That's 800-582-0828 for the CSI Companies.
In Florida, bicyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as everyone else on the road. So when you ride, follow the rules. Always wear a helmet and use lights on your bike. And drivers, watch for cyclists. Give them space to ride. And don't forget, when making that right on red, look to your right first to see if a cyclist is approaching in the bike lane. We all have a responsibility to keep ourselves and each other safe. Alert today, alive tomorrow. Because safety doesn't happen by accident. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hanania Subaru of Orange Park would like to present our new dealership with over 13 acres of vehicles to choose from and our new online buying program, iBuy. You decide how much of your buying experience you do online. Browsing, value your trade, picking your payments, financing. Just go to SubaruofOrangePark.com, pick out your vehicle, and click iBuy to begin. Become an iBuy preferred customer at Hanania Subaru of Orange Park, your local Subaru superstore.
At Tropical Smoothie Cafe, one taste and you're hitting refresh now, palm tree swaying now, letting loose now, busting a move now, cranking up the beats now, hands in the air now, feeling free now. You're on Tropic time now. And right now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe, try our watermelon mojito and guava margarita smoothies. And you're tasting fruity now, sipping sunshine now, toasting summer now. You're on Tropic time now at Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Now more than ever, the Jaguars want to recognize our fans and everything you do to make football, well, football. As part of the NFL Fan of the Year contest, the Jaguars are searching for one extraordinary Jaguars fan whose positive influence inspires others in Northeast Florida through their love of the game. Wow. You can win a trip to Super Bowl 55. Visit NFL.com/Fan of the Year now to nominate yourself or others for a chance to win.
Jaguars fans, game day is back, and while it might look a little different this year, the good times, smooth drinks, and tailgate excitement will never change when you're cheering on the Jags with Jameson. So pull up a seat, pour a smooth Jameson, ginger, and lime, and enjoy game day with Jameson. Taste responsibly. Jameson Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof. Product of Ireland. Copyright 2020. Imported by John Jameson Import Company, New York, New York.
JP Shadrick, Mike Dempsey from the Hanania Subaru of Orange Park studio at TIAA Bank Field. The Dolphins and the Jaguars on Thursday Night Football coming up at 8:20. And tonight's game is presented by Bud Light Platinum Seltzer, made for the night. Let's get to the inactives and start off with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags have 6 down today. Jake Luton, quarterback. Wide receiver DJ Chark. Doug Marrone said he was injured on that deep ball catch where he landed on the ground last week in Tennessee. And more of a precaution than anything to keep him out on the short week. Cornerback Josiah Scott, cornerback Luke Barku, defensive tackle Doug Costin, and offensive lineman, the center, Brandon Linder, is out. Brandon Wright was your kicker tonight. Keelan Cole is the wide receiver for DJ Chark in the starting role tonight, and Tyler Shatley will start at center. Josh Lambo officially on IR, a minimum of 3 weeks. That's why he is not included in the inactives tonight, Mike.
Right. For the Dolphins, another half dozen here. Wide receiver Malcolm Perry will not be playing, nor will wide receiver Lynn Bowden Jr., who is actually a Raiders draft pick this year. Byron Jones, the cornerback, starting corner, will not be suiting up for the Dolphins. Safety Clayton Fedulum, defensive end Jason Strobridge, and tackle Adam Pankey are the other inactives for Miami.
All right, inactives are in, and it's time now for the Geico Fantasy Outlook. Saving you money on car insurance has been in Geico's playbook for over 75 years. So after the game, get a quote at geico.com. Let's go back to the booth. Tony and Jeff are back with us. We welcome in play-by-play man Frank Frangie. And Mike, how did we do last week?
Well, you did very well.
Yes,
but
I did.
Jeff did the best last week because he had Aaron Jones go for 44 points en route to 83 overall. So high score of the week.
Thank you very much.
JP, though, right behind him with 76 points. Tony had 70. I had a mere 50.
Ooh.
And Frank Franchi had Saquon Barkley and Julio Jones in his lineup.
Ouch.
So
2 injuries.
He totaled 34 points thanks to Patrick Mahomes carrying you, Frank.
After Michael Thomas got hurt the week before, but don't worry about that. Just
well, look, I've had the
injuries.
same exact pattern develop on another one of these drafts, but we'll leave that for another time. JP, though, is the overall leader.
Yes, I am.
After 2 weeks with 150 points.
Yeah,
Logs.
but Mike, hold on.
Yes.
He led. You know what? He led for 16 weeks last year.
Okay.
And then he choked at the end, and I passed him. It doesn't matter what JP does. It doesn't matter where he is because he can't win. He'll choke.
It's a new year, Tony. It's
We'll
a
find
new
out.
season.
We'll find out. 150 for JP, 130 for Jeff. I've got 125. Tony's got 120, and I'm only listing the players in triple digits. So
too many injuries.
Frank's
healthy.
right there knocking on the door with 99. All right, so here we go. Draft order this week. Frank, myself, Tony, JP, and Jeff. So, Frank, the board is yours.
Lamar Jackson, please.
All right, Lamar Jackson is off the board. I'm going to go with DeAndre Hopkins.
I'm going Gardner Minshew.
All right, Tony goes with Gardner Minshew. No DJ Chark. He doesn't care. All right, JP.
Give me Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. Okay, Jeff, get back-to-back picks.
All right, I will take Kamara.
Okay.
And I will take Tyreek Hill.
Okay. Tough matchup there. JP, got a running back or a pass catcher?
Give me Zeke Elliott.
Okay. Tony, same deal.
Give me Laviska Shenault.
Oh, he's
all Jaguar.
doubling up. I hope you're right.
I like it.
We can all root for Tony tonight. I will go with Myles Sanders. Frank, you get your running back and your wide receiver or tight end.
Aaron Jones.
Okay.
And Calvin Ridley.
Ridley's a good one. Like him this week. At quarterback, I'm going to go with Dak Prescott. Tony, need a running back.
I'm going to go with James Robinson.
Oh, my gosh. He has gone all in on Thursday Night Football. JP.
Julian Edelman.
Julian Edelman.
Bunch of catches.
Wow. He did last week, and Jeff need a QB.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
You laughed last week, too, Tony, at my wide receiver, Tyreek Hill. He did pretty good.
I did.
He did at the end.
Thank you.
He
did.
He saved
Doesn't
you
matter
with
when.
the rolling
There's
touchdown
60 minutes
catch.
every game.
All right, here's what we got. Frank's got Lamar Jackson, Aaron Jones, and Calvin Ridley. I've got Dak Prescott, Myles Sanders, and DeAndre Hopkins. Tony has the
Jags.
Jaguar
Just say the Jags.
trio.
I have the Jags.
Minshew, Robinson, Shenault. Well done, sir. Kyler Murray for JP, Ezekiel Elliott, and Julian Edelman. And Jeff will roll with Russell Wilson, Alvin Kamara, and Tyreek Hill. Good luck, everybody.
I must say, I like the all-Jaguar lineup for Tony.
I do, too. I hope he's right. I wish him the best of luck this week.
Me too, by the way.
For the only time all year, I'll wish him luck.
No doubt. All right, guys.
See you
Thanks
guys.
a lot. Appreciate
guys.
it. Tony and Jeff will be back with us in Countdown to Kickoff on the Jaguars Radio Network coming up in just a little bit, and inside an hour from now, in fact, for some final thoughts before tonight's kickoff. Time now for the Frank Frangie File. We visit a little longer with play-by-play man Frank Frangie ahead of Thursday night football. The lights are on. The crowd is filing in. A nationally televised game on a Thursday against an in-state rival, and here we go. The Jags, Frank, can be 2-1 after tonight with a mini bye ahead.
JP, I'm loving the teal, the end zones and the unis. And did you see the teal when you got here today?
I haven't been outside. I'm not allowed in there.
The teal is spectacular. So I'm excited about this. You don't get a lot of these night games. You don't get a lot of these nationally televised games. I love the look and the feel of this. And, yeah, they got a pretty good team, and I think they're going to win tonight, and I think they're going to be 2-1. So all's well in teal, JP. I'm excited.
All right, Frank, if they're going to win tonight, they're going to do it, obviously, without three of their starters. So if you would, what is the order of concern? Like, which guys concern you that they're out the most between Lambo, Linder, and Chark?
Well, that's three good ones, isn't it, Mike? I hear you. Chark, my order would be Chark, Lambo, Linder, and that's probably because I don't appreciate line play as much as I should. But you asked the question. Chark for sure, because I think he's a star. I think he's a multiple, barring injuries, going to go to a bunch of Pro Bowls. Lambo might be the best kicker in the league. Mike, he's never missed in this building. He missed once all of last year. He's off to a good start this year. And I think Brandon Linder's really important. That's three important guys. But if I had to rank them, I'd rank them all kind of in there together, man. But if I had to rank them like that, the DJ Chark thing concerns me. I know they've got a deep receiving core, maybe the strength of the team, but boy, he's a good player. In so many ways, he's a good player.
Frank Frangie with us from the broadcast booth here at TIAA Bank Field. The Frangie file continues, and LaVisca Chenault Jr. has put on a show so far, Frank. He got a touchdown in week 1. He's lining up all over the place, taking direct snaps and running over safeties and running out and catching passes as a wide receiver, which was expected. But he's doing a lot of different things, which gives Jay Gruden so many options. And I think it's not only the options for the game that's being played, but the challenge for the defensive coordinators the rest of the year to plan for this guy.
Well, I think that's a big part of the last thing you said, JP. How do you stop him? What do you expect him to do when when you see the Jags break the huddle or the substitution happen? You're not sure where he's lining up. There's not many guys in football these days when throughout the course of the game you're not sure where they're going to line up. Not just some guys that do wildcat, and you expect that a couple times a game, but you really don't know where the guy's lining up, so you don't know what kind of personnel to have on the field. I think that really helps. The other part is he's a really good player. He stays healthy. He's physical. He's fast. He's dynamic. He's got a knack for making plays. That's been pretty clear right out of the gate. Oh, man, has he been fun to watch. I'll be interested to see, to Mike's question a minute ago, JP, how does his play change with DJ Chark not on the field? Does he get double – do you double team a guy who's playing his third game in the NFL? I don't know that, but I'll be interested to see how the Dolphins play him now that DJ Chark's not on the field opposite him.
Frank, this team needs to get off to faster starts, and other than just play better and execute better, is there something that they can do, in your opinion, to help them get off to a faster start?
And again, I'm not a coach. Tony and Jeff have forgotten more football than I'll know, Mike. But to your question, they have not seemed, from a formation standpoint, defensively aggressive early on. They haven't blitzed till late in some games. I wonder if maybe you try and shake it up early on. Ryan Fitzpatrick doesn't have a big arm. He's a veteran guy. He's played for 8 teams. He knows how to play, but he's not a big arm guy. So do you get after him early on? Do you try and establish something defensively early on? So if the offensive play calling, I wouldn't change a thing. I think Jay Gruden has been spot on, and I don't think Todd Washington's done a bad job either. But I might be. It seemed to me, my layman's view, it seemed they got a little better defensively when they got after the quarterback and sent a 5th guy. Maybe you blitz a little more early on. Maybe if there's one thing, that might be it.
Frank, we heard from Myles Jack earlier this week. He spoke with the media yesterday, in fact. We heard from him earlier on this program. And it seemed to me, and we've talked to him, of course, over the years, the clearest mind he's had, refreshed, ready to go. He's healthy, it sounds like. I think it's the most we've heard like that from him since 2017 when he was making those splash plays late in the season and in the postseason. It's good to have Myles back to the Myles we all expect Myles to be.
JP, I think that's a great observation. He seems free, doesn't he?
Yep.
He seems to talk freely. He's playing freely. He's not thinking. He's not worrying that I missed this assignment, that I missed that assignment. And that was clear in his media session. I think you're dead on. He looks like he has been let out of jail, man. Let's go play. I have been encompassed by this game plan. I've been trapped. And he's trying. By the way, I don't think he played nearly as bad as he said he played or people thought he played. I don't think he was as encompassed or did as bad a job. But I think he was trapped in he had the radio, JP. He was trying to get everybody lined up. I think he was trapped. And I think we have freed Myles Jack to go be the terrific player that he is, and I think he's done a fantastic job.
You might have just started a new hashtag, Free Myles Jack.
And I think they did, JP. But he is playing at a great level. There's no question about it.
Frank, what about pressure tonight from the defense? You expect it to take a significant step forward, or Ryan Fitzpatrick will hang on to the football?
Yeah, I don't know that it's completely different. But I heard you talking to Jeff and you guys talking to Jeff and Tony early. And if there is a concern, there hasn't been much of a pass rush. That's not. It's pretty obvious. There hasn't been much of a pass rush. So if you're going to change something, you got to find a way to get to him. He holds the ball. He doesn't have a big arm. I really think the first 2 quarterbacks they played are really good players. Everybody knows how good Rivers is. I think Ryan Tannehill, Mike, is a really good player. I'm not saying Fitz isn't, but he's a different kind of player. He's not as physically gifted as either one of those guys. Yeah, I think they get after him. I think that's one way to – if there's something that changes tonight, I think you see a 5th rusher or more earlier in the game than we've become accustomed. That's what I think would change.
Yeah, he's streaky.
Yeah.
And if he gets hot, then he can get streaky the right way for the Dolphins and the wrong way for the Jags. So get some pressure on him. Frank, have a great call. I know you're wearing teal, right?
I am wearing teal, and I'm excited about the teal. Thanks, fellas.
All right, Frank Frangie joining us from the broadcast booth. And this season, the Jaguars are launching predictive gaming exclusively in the Jags mobile app. Choose a bingo card, pick the favorite 3 players, and place wagers to win prizes. Check out the games in the mobile app and check it out right now. Yeah, I'm excited tonight. All the teal end zones, teal uniforms, pants, jerseys. No helmets, though, not allowed.
I'm interested to see how it looks on TV. The teal on teal.
I think it's going to be very teal. A lot of teal running around.
Wow. JP.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Apparently so.
We're back in a moment. A visit with the Ozone. Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser joins us from the broadcast booth here at TIAA Bank Field. Network coverage at 7:30 with countdown to kickoff. And we're coming up on an hour away from kickoff for Thursday Night Football, the Dolphins and the Jaguars. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is Jaguars Radio.
The best thing about working at Fair & Farah is all of the employees. We all work together. It's extremely enjoyable to come to work every day.
There's a common cause or goal. No matter what your job is, we're all there for the client.
We are dedicated to our clients 100%. We do everything it takes to maximize the value of their claims.
Fair & Farah is really the Farah family. When they choose us, they choose a family to fight for them and to protect them and to make sure that they're in a good place and that they have somebody on their side.
Farah & Farah, here for you, here for good. Jacksonville.
Kessler Creative, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, has the large format printing services running in high gear, creating large banners for marketing events, full vehicle wraps. Learn how Kessler changes the game with print and direct mail innovation. From eye-catching restaurant menus to real estate yard signs and event displays, Kessler does it all. Kessler Creative, Jacksonville, Florida. Results-driven marketing and a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At ViStar, we believe in better, especially in helping build a better financial future for our members. So we've reviewed our offerings from the ground up. We've lowered or eliminated over half our fees and enhanced our already competitive rates, saving members more than $1 million this year, in addition to the millions we save them every year. If you believe that saving money is better, join ViStar. We never forget that it's your money. All loans subject to approval, insured by NCUA.
Hey Jacksonville, this is Joey D from Bono's. I just want to let you know that we have now reopened all of our dining rooms. We appreciate all the love that you have showed us during this crisis. For over 71 years, we have been here for you through good times and bad. Our award-winning barbecue and our unbelievable staff look forward to seeing you soon. Be safe.
I'm Chantel Baker, fiance of DJ Chark. My fiance is always prepared with a game day plan, and so am I. I'm always looking for easy ways to save time, and Publix helps me tackle everything from pre-game prep to post-game cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds.
This week at Publix, assorted varieties of Always Ultra Thin, maxi pads, and liners are on sale for $5.49.
Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Why live with foot or ankle pain? If you have persistent pain, numbness, tingling, burning pain on the bottom of your foot, or swelling that doesn't improve with home treatment, it may be time to see Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute. Our foot and ankle specialists have innovative new options to help you get back in the swing of things without persistent pain that slows you down. Call JOI 2000 or go to joionline.net for an appointment.
Final moments of the Publix Tailgate Show. The Dolphins and the Jaguars kick off tonight at 8:20 at TIAA Bank Field. Tonight's game is presented by Bud Light Platinum Seltzer, made for the night. Time now for our traffic update presented by Geico. Saving you money on car insurance has been in Geico's playbook for over 75 years, so after the game, get a quote at geico.com. It is a little after 7 o'clock, 7:18 currently, so a lot of that rush hour traffic has died down, which is good news. But remember a few key things if you're heading into downtown for the Jaguars game tonight at TIAA Bank Field, crossing the Hart Bridge. Remember, the Hart Bridge Viaduct is no longer there, so if you're going left off the bridge, you're really going left off the bridge. Don't go that way. It's a one lane to the right going toward the stadium and the expressway to head up to the interstate.
It's the only lane I ever used.
That's
I appreciate them keeping it.
Correct. Yeah, thank you. So, but it does go from 2 lanes inbound to 1 before the exit to merge. So there will be some merging traffic there. And of course, over the Main Street Bridge downtown, always a little bit of slow and go traffic on game days. So plenty of space, plenty of time to get here for your parking and for kickoff tonight. 8:20, the kickoff time here at TIAA Bank Field. Time now for a visit with the Ozone.
The Ozone.
Jaguars.com senior writer John Oehser joins us from the broadcast booth here at TIAA Bank Field. And primetime football, Johnny O, can't beat it.
Yeah, it is. But unfortunately for me, I'm stuck up here in a booth with Baselli right now, JP. So, I mean, he files something for me every week, JP, right? You know, the final analysis thing?
Correct.
He finally this week filed it on time. He couldn't be more happy with himself if he had actually gotten in the hall yet.
Wow, he finally made a deadline.
Gloating.
A deadline.
It's a whole thing. But that's what we deal with 71, but let's talk Dolphins.
Well, let's talk. Just stay distant from him,
right.
if you would, please. Jaguars, Dolphins coming up. And, you know, we talked about it on the show this week, John. It's, you know, not a lot of folks nationally didn't expect a lot from this football team, right? They said they're going to tank and they're not going to play well. And they're 32nd in the power rankings. Well, they came out and won week 1. They darn near won last week. They've got an opportunity tonight and moving ahead, too. And it's a little different looking than a lot of people outside of here would have expected.
Well, it is, and it's a team that, you know, to their credit, said all through training camp, all through the offseason, I'm talking from Dave Caldwell to Doug Marrone all the way down, they kept saying, look, and Dave Caldwell said it right before the season started, judge us by what goes on in the field, let this team play. And so far, they've been right. So far, they've looked like a team. I think we talked about it, JP. They believe they're a contender. They believe they have the capability of doing it. And so far, they haven't proved themselves wrong. So, yeah, it looks a lot different. And that being said, I think I said on Monday to somebody, I haven't been this optimistic about this team after a loss since I've been back since 2011. But that all goes away if you don't win tonight.
Oh, that's the thing, John, right? I mean, so far it's only 2 games, and while they could easily be 2-0, they could easily be 0-2 as well. So how important is this game, not only for the national perception of the team, but just for the team itself, the reality of there are some winnable games coming up on the schedule that you've got to take advantage of right now.
Yeah, and I think even beyond that, you know, history with this Thursday game says that good home teams go out and win this game. There's a big advantage to it being at home. And I also think it's still a young team that, you know, they still need to keep showing themselves they can win. They're confident, but if you don't do it, you lose that confidence really quickly. So it's beyond the perception, and it's a critical game for perception, obviously. If you lose this, then fans say, oh, you know, same old Jags. But even beyond that, because I think this team doesn't really care about that much, if you lose this, you know, you lose some of that edge and some of that confidence that these young guys are starting to build.
John Oehser with us, Jaguars.com senior writer. The offense is putting up the headlines at least the last couple weeks with 28.5 points per game, but they're going to need to keep scoring that if the defense keeps giving up 14 right out of the gate each week. How do you defensively start faster?
Yeah, if I knew, I'd be making a lot more money than I am right now. I mean, it's up to them to start faster. The thing that you hope, and I think Dempsey and I talked about it this week, the thing you hope is that this is a team that's made some big defensive stops. They had 3 big defensive stops against Tennessee, so they can obviously play defense. But it's been like a sieve early on, and they should probably have given up 4 touchdown drives on their first 2 drives of each game, if that makes sense. 2 against the Colts, 2 against the Titans. So how do you get stops? play better. I mean,
right.
I'm not sure there's much mystery to it, but I do think there's something to what Schobert said after that first game when he talked about it's still a young defense, hasn't played together a lot. There may still be some learning going on with between themselves, that it takes a few plays, maybe a few series for them to really get going. But at some point you got to stop that because you can't depend on the offense to come back from double-digit deficits every game.
And, John, we've been talking with everybody so far asking about the 3 starters that are not going to play for the Jaguars, Josh Lambo, DJ Chark, and Brandon Linder. And how do you prioritize how important their absences are?
Well, if they're lining up for if they're down 2 with 2 seconds to go and the ball's at the 35, I'm gonna prioritize Lambo a lot. but you know, I would probably say Chark first, Linder second, and Lambo third. But you know, they're all important. If you told me any of those guys, Linder's their captain as a center, so he's a lot more critical than maybe some people realize. And if they have a go-to, it's Chark. So it's 3 big losses, and if you asked me to list 6 guys they couldn't lose, they're probably 3 of them.
Yeah, on a night like this, in this matchup against the Dolphins as well, John, this could have been a night for DJ Chark against a Dolphins team that plays a lot of man coverage.
Well, if
I get open,
yeah, I mean, at some point this week, I wrote 2 or 3 different times. This is a game where you would think everybody who was at training camp saw the connection between Minshew and Chark. And what it primarily was Chark able to get deep, and Minshew's got a really nice touch on deep passes. And they have a good timing with that, and it seemed like they hit one every day during camp. They haven't done that a lot in the first 2 games because the defenses have sort of taken that away. The Dolphins are going to play man. Now, the good news is I think Chenault can do the same thing. So they have guys who can do that. It's just that Chark and Minshew are really good hooking up with that.
All right, all that being said, John, how do you see it going tonight?
Well, I like the Jags a lot until – the Lambo Chark stuff yesterday, and that I think it's going to be close. I still like the Jaguars, but I think it's going to be much tighter because I think without Chark you probably lose. I envisioned him having a 60-yard pass tonight, or a 60-yard reception. The key is going to be Brandon Wright. Can he convert kicks in the clutch? If he has a messy rookie kicker night, then I think they're in trouble. But barring that, I think it's the Jags.
All right, John Oehser, we'll look for your writing a little bit later tonight and throughout the game. It's a good follow on Twitter during the game as well. Have a great night, John.
All right, thanks, guys.
John Oehser, senior writer, Jaguars.com, and that will do it for the Publix Tailgate Show. We are about to begin Jaguars Radio Network coverage. Countdown to kickoff coming up. We'll hear from CBS Sports senior writer Pete Prisco, pride of the Jaguars running back Fred Taylor, and we have the final word with head coach Doug Marrone. We are inside an hour from kickoff. Thursday Night Football, the Dolphins and the Jaguars coming up. And from TIAA Bank Field, this is the Publix Tailgate Show on Jaguars Radio.